How's it going, everyone? It's time again for Ixio Roulette, the series where we kneel at the altar of games platform Ixio and see what gifts it confers upon us. And this week, it has actually given us quite a gift. We're playing a game called A Bright Light in the Middle of the Ocean, created by, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, Fee Silver? Might be Fi, might be Fee, not entirely sure. But either way, there's a lot of acclaim to come for this one. This is probably one of my favourites I've played since we've started doing this series, and we're going to get into why, right now. Simply put, what we're doing is exploring a lighthouse in an island and just having a look around and just taking it all in. What's inside the lighthouse, looking at some of these views, checking out birds. It's an exploration game, or whatever you want to term it. Walking simulator, cozy game, whatever. I don't think the terminology is necessarily helpful, but what really stands out to me is that this game is fantastic. It's ace. It's a wonderful, relaxing experience. And I know this sounds maybe a little bit unusual, but what I would say is actually creating something like this, an experience that, doesn't have mechanics, but is still engaging and relaxing and something that you want to be part of, that is a very difficult thing to do. It's something that requires genuine craft and a lot of skill to do, and I think it's a lot harder than people give that credit for. So let's talk a little bit about why it works, and I think a good place to start is the sound design. The music overall is done by an artist known as Pause Menu. That's pause as in like a cat or dog, so points for puns. But the music really has a nice tone to it. It's nice, it's gentle, it's this kind of soft piano music that begins to kind of build up and kind of elevate the whole experience. And one of the things I really like about that is listen to the music when you're down here at the entrance of the lighthouse. And then contrast that with how you're more up here as you've reached the peak of the lighthouse and you're looking out across the ocean. It's just a smart way to use that music, which, credit to composer and credit to game designer. And the sound design kind of goes beyond the music as well. It's small things, but just the noise of these seagulls and the washing up of the sea across the ocean really evokes a place to it. For me, it really evokes a sense of the British coast, which might not be too familiar for anyone who lives outside the UK, but whether it's the pebbly beach in Brighton or the soft shores of Cornwall, it really has that sound and ambience to it, thankfully minus the screaming children. Why this is really good is that this kind of helps you evoke memories. A lot of people have memories of the beach, a lot of people have memories of going to the coast and having that kind of relaxing aura to it. And for me personally, it kind of evokes a lot of memories of being sat with my now husband on the coast of Scarborough just a few weeks before we got married, just watching the shore lap in and out. It's a nice thing to be reminded of, and I think when sound design can evoke that kind of thing, you've really hit a sweet spot. It's interesting that as games kind of develop further and further, you find that some games are very beautiful, but they're kind of deeply overwhelming because the scale of it is so big and there's so much to look at that you can't possibly take it all in. But with A Bright Light in the Middle of the Ocean, there's not much to look at, and that allows you to really take in the overall aesthetic, but it means that the details really matter. And it encourages you to take your time. When there's not much to look at, it encourages, you're not rushed like, oh my god, look at this tree, look at this animal, look at this amazing thing happening in the sky. This is more, hey, there's a few interesting things here, so why not take a few seconds to take it in and look. It's almost museum-esque in that approach. And when you don't have any objectives and there's no quest to do, it just kind of encourages you, why not walk to the top of here and watch this boat go by and just watch it sail across the sea. This minimal approach also allows for some really neat environmental storytelling. So just look at this scene here. All you have is a book, some paper, drawing, and a window view. And you don't need an audio log or any description to tell you that there's probably someone who sits here just looking out drawing birds in their spare time. It's smart, It's a great example of show don't tell, and it just adds a little bit of character to the place, and it tells you a lot about whoever lives here, whether it's you, the player character, or someone else, that you can just pick up really easily. And that's not easy to do. It's a very fine balance to strike between being very on the nose and just being overly prescriptive or making it too subtle. So again, points to the designer. So that's what I've got to say about Bright Light in the Middle of the Ocean. This is actually one of the rare games that we're going to see in this series that actually has other writing about it. So I'm going to pop some articles in the comments below if you want to have a look. And I'd encourage you to check out the game yourself. It only takes 5, 10, 15 minutes to kind of take it in and have a look around. And you know, anyone who's an aspiring game designer, I'd encourage you to take a look as well. And that's all we got for today. This is a really nice one to talk about, so probably one of the longer videos, so hopefully you don't mind listening to my voice for a little bit longer than normal. But otherwise, you know, have a good day, look after yourself, and take care out there.